Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you are brand new, welcome back if you're not, and welcome home if that sits right for you. Today I want to do a pick a deck reading, and the topic I feel like we're being asked to discuss is what path or lesson is completing for you right now? What cycle are you in completion of? What are you integrating? And if we can grab some insight on what is coming next, we're also going to do that. So I have 3 decks for you to choose today. I'll give you a little bit of peek into them. So this is the Wildwood Tarot, and this is what it looks like. See how that feels for you. That'll be deck number 1. Deck number 2 is the Darkwood Tarot, and this is what it looks like. How does that feel? Does that resonate for you? And the last deck is the Mirayan Tarot, and that is what this deck looks like, a little more traditional. So like I said, we're going to focus on what path or lesson is completing for you today, and we'll pull some tarot, we'll pull some oracle cards, and just generally have a conversation. I'd like you to go ahead and take a minute, spend some energetic time. This is the place where your intuition becomes part of the magic. So take a minute and see which deck feels right for you. The deck will choose you, so just go ahead and let it. And again, you can choose 1, you can choose 2, you can choose all 3 and listen to this whole video. That's absolutely fine. It's entirely up to you. At any rate, I'll be quiet for just a moment. You can go ahead and take your time choosing. And I'll see you when you're reading. All right, deck number 1, you have chosen the Wildwood Tarot. So let's go ahead and grab your oracle cards first, shall we? And as always, here is what I want you to know. If this reading does not feel resonant for you, please go ahead and disregard it. If it doesn't sit right, it is absolutely not your reading. So maybe choose a different reading or come back to this at a different time. That is okay. This is a general reading, and so we're picking up on general energies. It can't be perfect for every single person out there. So that's okay. That's absolutely okay. And the other thing is, do not work to make this fit. If it doesn't fit your story, that is 100% okay. Just go ahead and move along to something different, or choose a different pile, knowing that your messages are always coming for you. Okay, so let's talk about these oracle cards that you have, and then we're going to pull some tarot. You've got the Thief. Okay, so this is seizing the moment, selfishness, right? So the way this card works is, this is about distraction, right? It's about what is distracting you in the moment, and the way that you are choosing to make things self-reflexive in a way that perhaps isn't taking the whole into account. Now, you have the Aries card over here, which which is a little bit validating for that card, right? Aries can have those tendencies, right? Those impulsive tendencies, those ego-focused energies, And then you have the Magician and the Mirror, right? So this is all about manifestation and the way that we manifest and how we're looking at things as we do that, right? This is about how we garner our power in order to create what we want, what we choose to create, and how we're going to, let's call that, move that through our own manifestation process. And the thing here is, sometimes we absolutely do manifest from that place of, I want this thing, right? This is what I want. And it's absolutely okay to move in alignment with your will, right? There's a difference, though, between will and ego. And I think that that's an important distinction, right? And that's why, wow, okay. So that's why we're calling this card here the Thief, right? Because that's a distraction. It's taking you away from the primary mission, which is always about what you're creating, what you're calling in, how you're in manifestation of yourself, right? If we're calling on an I want, if we're calling on a something out there, then we're absolutely 100% invalidating the we that we are. Because if you're looking outside for a thing, right, like Dorothy found out in The Wizard of Oz, you don't really have it to begin with. And so let's look at these tarot cards for a minute. This is fairly interesting. So you have the Queen of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands and the Eight of Swords. Arrows, I believe. Nope. Yeah, arrows are swords. In this deck. Yeah. And then you have the Star, the Hermit, and the Moon. Right? So this is a very interesting distinction, right? So let's look at this as the cycle that you are completing, and this as what's coming next. So if we have this message out here of your distraction, your journey as an ego-driven journey of I want, instead of I become, right? Looking externally for validation, looking externally for confirmation, looking externally for approval, any of those things, right? Those are all self-reflexive. No one can hand those to you unless you choose them for yourself. So we have the Queen of Pentacles, right? And here's the deal. The Queen of Pentacles, this is about resources. And we know that resources can be tangible or intangible. So we're talking about value and value, or worth and worth, right? And so if we're looking externally for those things, right? What's in my garage? What's in my bank account? What kind of shoes I have? Where my house is? If we're looking for those things, that is the thief, right? That's a moment of selfishness. That's really being, that's being a projection in the mirror instead of being actually a reflection. And there's a difference, right? That projection is what you're putting out, and the reflection is what you're actually seeing, right? You're seeing yourself versus you're seeing like an attenuated version of yourself. Aries is a primary energy card, right? This is about inception. This is about the way that you make choices, that you self-define. And so this Magician is always self-defined. The mirror here is the key, right? What are you seeing in the mirror? What are you choosing to see in the mirror, right? So the Queen of Pentacles is always going to be looking for herself. And that's a perfectly fine thing. This Ten of Wands, this Eight of Swords. So Ten of Wands is about having made choices that now need to be, let's call it unmade. Things that need to be unchosen. Things where you may have said yes because, wow, that seems like a great thing, right? A great thing. But then in the actual doing, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes wearisome. It becomes tiresome because it wasn't the thing that you wanted. It was something else, something somebody out there wanted instead of what you were choosing. And so that becomes heavy. That becomes a burden, right? And in that way, we have to choose. Now, we also have the Eight of Swords here. And the Eight of Swords is that card that says, oh, I am bound and frozen and obligated by my beliefs. I'm limited by what I believe to be true. And if we believe to be true, the fact that we require external motivation and that we're creating that over and over and over again, we're allowing that to steal our joy, right? And Aries is a joyful energy, right? That energy is that spark, that complete and total inspiration as and of yourself. And so if you're choosing to allow your entire state of value and worth be chosen by someone else and what they want from you or what they believe you should be, then you are fully and completely in projection mode and not reflection mode. Right? So the key here is, how do you turn this situation that you're working on around and make it so that everything you see is a chosen reflection and therefore not a burden, but simply a reflection of your value, of your own worth? Well, the key here is that you have these three majors. So pile number one, wow, whatever it is that you're going through, what's coming next is a major life shift for you. And I would say it has to do with your self-definition, with the way you create your own reality and the way that you choose not to allow anyone to define you for you, right? So you have the Star, and the Star is, of course, always a card of rebirth, renewal. It's about rededication, right? This card comes after the Tower. And so what we know about the Tower is that it's cataclysmic destruction. It's an idea, right? Swords are always about ideas. This is an idea that blows your mind, literally. And this is how you're going to rebuild after going through this cataclysmic external need for definition and value, looking to something or someone else for your worth. Right? So if you've been a person who is categorically defined by what other people think of you, what other people determine about you, right? What your appearance says, what your house says, what your car says, what your bank account says, what's coming in for you is a brand new way to self-define internally, seizing that moment, right? Becoming the reflection of your internal state, right? And really being in that fire of self. You have the hooded man here. So this actually speaks to the way in which you explore what's coming, right? These two cards here. So, so you have the hooded man and also the moon. And the key here is that these two cards, are asking you to explore your own mystery, right? The moon is the unknown. This is cycles. This is tides. So the way that we're going to shine the light in our darkness here, pile number one, is that we're going to explore our mystery, right? It's no secret that we have this light in each and every one. So what we're doing is exploring our unknown, gathering it, right? Creating it as this piece of us, right? Gathering it to ourselves and then witnessing that its reflection is the everything all around us, right? So we're moving from this external environment, this need for, does this look okay? Do you think this is a good place to live? Is this an okay car for me to drive? Do you think I need to have more money? All of those things, all of those external markers of value, of worth, of the way that you judge yourself, into this way of finding yourself as the result of your own projection and self-defining. This is how I'm moving, right? This is self-direction. This is self-choice. This is self-definition. Aries is the I am energy. So pile number 1, what you are in the process of doing is moving out of a path or a lesson that has been about external validation, right? That has allowed other people or other things to steal your joy, and give you that, let's call it immediate reciprocity of projection, right? Like everything that you've been witnessing has been your own projection. So what you're doing is actually turning your mystery into your manifestation, right? As both the magician and the mirror. I love it. Pile number 1. This is amazing. I wish you luck on what is coming next for you. This is going to be a beautiful journey for you. So do me this favor, hit the subscribe button and come back and let me know how this goes for you. This, of course, is timeless. And again, anything that was for you here, you feel free to pick up, and you just leave behind anything that's not. If you are going to keep on listening, I will see you in pile number 2. And if not, please be blessed. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Hey, welcome pile number 2, or those of you who chose the Darkwood Tarot. Let's go ahead and get right into your reading. And what I would like to do immediately is to simply say anything that fits for you here, anything that feels right. Feel free to pick that up and run with it. And if it doesn't, that is A-okay. It does not have to be your message, right? Anything that is yours, you're more than welcome to. And anything that is not, please do not try to make it fit. Just allow it to be what it is. Some messages will be for you and some won't. So, you have the Assassin. So ruthlessness and conviction. That is an interesting card, but I like it in the context of this reading. You also have Leo. Perfect, right? And, blossoming abundance. I love it. All right, let's see what the tarot has to say to you, shall we? Yeah, hello. Perfect. So, again, what we're talking about today is what path or lesson is completing for you. And in asking that question, we're going to be looking for anything that has been your current or present status, anything that you've been living or working on or working through, and we will move then into the what comes next. Pile number 2. Okay. So, let's start with your oracle cards. Okay, so the Assassin, this ruthlessness and conviction, right? This is how we dedicate ourselves to a cause. And it can be about blindly dedicating yourself to something, and then choosing the conviction, right? It goes along with that concept of all things that have to require your conscious effort, right? Which is actually really important, mostly because if you're not using your own discernment, it comes into it comes into that place where you're gathering consequences and karma that may not be actually what you're destined to have, what you're here to be doing, right? And so this is about those things that you just have to do, right? And the other thing is about about how you're willing to dig in and learn a lesson, right? Some things are not comfortable. Some things are not happy while we're doing them, right? but it's like that thing where, you're never sorry once your workout's done, right? That's kind of like this card. Like the lessons that we learn, they might just be awful while you're walking through them. But then once you learn them, you can level up and move to the next thing, kind of like the theme of this reading, right? What path or lesson is completing for you? So you may have been kind of feeling like you were on a merry-go-round and you were like, I don't really love this merry-go-round, but I'm kind of stuck here. It may have felt that way. You may have had the same things presenting over and over and over again. The key is that we have to find the lesson in those things. And once we identify that lesson, once we come into awareness of, oh, this is what this is about. Like you witness your pattern in total and you say, oh, here and here and here and here and here, the same thing. Oh, right. It's kind of like that whole thing about if everybody's looking at me, it's probably not just me being paranoid. You know what I'm saying? So you have to check your self-motivation in light of what you're actually being asked to witness. Like sometimes we just get tired of doing a thing, but if you dive in and stop avoiding, then you get the business done, right? So you also have a Leo card, and Leo is the card of self, right? This is the card of how we create our own identity and put it into the world. And so sometimes that really, really can be scary, or it can lead to a lot of situations that are uncomfortable, because every time you're on point with yourself, like, oh, this is what I'm creating as myself, this is what I'm creating for myself, we're always like that goose at the beginning of the V, and boy, that guy gets tired, right? So every way that you're self-creating, right? They have the word shine here, which I love. Because it is always about daring to shine your light into what you might perceive as darkness. And so if you've been trying and meeting with less than ideal results, shall we say, things might be turning around for you. You also have this blossoming abundance card, and that gives me a clue as to what's coming for you, right? So if you felt like you just keep hitting your head against the wall and it's unappreciated, things might be changing. Let's get into this tarot and talk about it and see what might be coming. So you have the Knight of Pentacles, the Seven of Swords, and the Two of Pentacles. Then you have the Eight of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups, right? So look at this. You have two sevens and two twos. Okay, so let's talk. Let's pay attention. You have a lot of pentacles. Okay, so pentacles are earth energy. This is about value. This is about worth. This is about what you have and what you hope to have and what you create and how you feel resourced, right? Whether that is something that you can touch or something that you have to feel. So you have the Knight of Pentacles, which is about slow and steady progress. Again, this is that butting up against that thing over and over and over and over again. This is stamina. This is endurance. This is just staying the course. Now, you have the Seven of Swords. This is about deceit and betrayal. And I often witness the Seven of Swords as a self-betrayal, right? Self-deceit. Where are you not being honest with yourself? Where are you not being authentic? Where are you not being truthful? And because swords are about ideas, right, we want to talk about how or whether this is in line with your values, your beliefs, and have you tested that for yourself? Or are you simply choosing to take on someone else's beliefs, right? Because this conviction, this assassin card, can absolutely be the reason that you're butting up against the thing over and over again, is that you're trying to put forth someone else's idea, someone else's agenda, someone else's representation, when in fact what you're being asked to do is create your own instead, right? So if you're just moving forward, but it's not the right path, it's never going to matter. You're never going to end up in a place that feels aligned, that feels good. And so you also have the Two of Pentacles up here, which is about juggling, right? He does not look very happy. He does not look very happy. So the Two of Pentacles is a juggling card. This is about how you're trying to create with your own resources, how you're trying to manage your own values. Guess what? If you're not grounded, this is labor. This is work. This is nothing anybody wants to do, right? We go right back here. Look at how we have a little bit of echo right there, right? They kind of have the same face. Maybe not the happiest. Maybe not the happiest. So if you feel like you're just spinning plates all the time, just not getting anything done, pay attention. That's the path or lesson that's completing for you. And the key is your own authenticity. If it doesn't meet your criteria, then it's a no, right? If it doesn't make you happy, then it's a no. Right? So let's talk about this. We have the 8 and the 7 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups, right? So the 8 and 7 of Pentacles, this is about waiting and what you're dedicating yourself to. And let's take it in the order that it came in. So this is how we devote our energy, how we create our own practiced skill through mastery, through repetition, through doing what we want to do over and over again. And this does not have to be about your particular job or profession. This can be about something you love to do, right? We're not have to talk about, this is my job. I get a little sense that it might be, but it doesn't have to be, right? You can be an amateur and be better than most professionals, because the root of the word amateur is amo. It's your heart, right? That's why amateurs do what they do. And that's why sometimes amateurs are loads better than a professional who's simply doing it for the tangible result, right? So this is about choosing to do what you want over and over and over and over again. It's about being willing to practice, being willing to cultivate your skill, right? This 7 of Pentacles, this is about waiting. This is about how you dedicate and devote your energy, your attention, your time, right? If what you're doing hasn't been making you happy, make the conscious choice to create. Leo is the card of creation, right? Create here. Create in your heart. Right, so whatever it is, being patient with yourself. I mean, if you have to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to give this a year, and I'm going to devote myself to it, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to be patient. All I can tell you is this 2 of Cups says, whatever it is you're going to do, it's going to bring you joy. It's going to bring you happiness and contentment and satisfaction and bliss and that sense of union, where this is all about separation, right? This is about separation. This is about union. This is about that contraction, that moving toward, right? Where this is that sense of expansion, like just flinging your energy outward. This is about pulling things toward you. So if you are in a tumultuous time right now where you feel like what you're doing is not bringing you blossoming abundance, you are being asked, pile number 2, to give yourself the conviction, right? The courage of your conviction. Come on, you can't beat that. The courage of your conviction, and to create whatever it is that you want to create, and then to allow it to blossom into its abundance and fill all of your cups. I literally don't know how you could get a clearer message than that. I love it. Pile number 2, I wish you nothing but the best. Please, whatever has spoken to you here, please feel free to pick up and run with it. If this is not your message, listen to pile number 3, see if it was there, check it out and see. But mostly importantly, hit that subscribe button so you can come back and tell me how this goes, because I'm interested. I love this as your path and lesson of completion, and especially what's coming next for you. That's amazing. The courage of your convictions. Pile number 2, big blessings. Thanks for stopping in. Take care. Hey, welcome, pile number 3. We have had 2 great readings so far. Yeah, thank you. I see you. I'm very excited about what your message might be about the path and the lesson that is completing for you. And mostly about what's coming in next, because they've been really exciting so far. As always, whatever resonates for you, please feel free to grab that message. What does not, feel free to leave it behind. Always knowing that you can just come back next time, right? This is a general reading, so let's get into it and see what's going on. Ooh, you have the Alchemist. Balance, invention, destruction. Alrighty, well, that starts off kind of wild, eh? Ooh, you have the Sun, which is source. Phenomenal. Ooh. All right, pile number 3. What do you guys got cooking here? You also have adjacent possibilities. Oh, I love this already. I love it already. Pile number 3. Let's see what the tarot has to say for you. So here's the deal. I think it's always important to know what's coming. But I also think it's important to recognize what you are releasing, what you're being asked to get rid of, and to recognize what you've done, right? Thank you. We'll have that. Yeah, we will. To recognize what you've done, right? Where you've been is quite often as important as where you're going, simply because that's the way that we learn, right? So let's talk about these oracle cards first. So we have the Alchemist, balance, invention, and destruction. You have the Sun and adjacent possibilities. Woo! Pile number 3. You know what? Nope, we're going to get your tarot. Let's grab it. Okay, 4 of Wands, the 5 of Wands, the King of Pentacles, Strength, the 6 of Cups, and the 9 of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. All right. So, pile number 3. Here we go. Okay. All right. So, while you may have been in a very positive cycle so far, there are always things that we have to work through, right? Even in the best of times, there's always something that's going, hello, hello. And here's what's happening for you. So this is a really beautiful card, right? The 4 of Wands is a shared celebration card. This is about shared satisfaction. This is about having created something wonderful, right? Beautiful feelings of passion, and the way that we share our inspiration with others, the way that we share our heart with others, the way that we can be part of a collaborative effort in which we have every reason to get out of bed every single morning and say, woo, let's get at this day, right? So the 5 following it right there. So the 5 is this blockage card, right? This is the card that says, I am, see, no one's actually, I think it's important always to have this conversation about this card. In the 5 of Wands, no one is actually making contact with anyone else. They're not striking anyone else. There's no injury being done. But they're all just holding one another off, right? This is a card of like blocking, right? This is a card of stubbornness. This is a card of I'm right, and there's nothing you can do to change my mind. So perhaps as part of this beautiful idea of bliss, you know, there's always, like I said, those things that get you, right? No matter how big or how small. But this is holding on to a belief or an idea or the notion that you're correct in sacrifice to the relationships that are formed as a result of this energy. Right? So you may be experiencing some conflict. The King of Pentacles here says to me that it might be about money. It might be about resources. It might be about how you're, and I'm saying you, but how you or someone in this situation is digging their heels in and insisting that they're correct, right? Whether or not they are correct is a whole different ball game. That doesn't really matter. That's not the issue. The issue is the assertion, right? The assertion. This is what we have to do. This is how we have to do it. This is how it's got to be. This is how these resources have to be allocated. This is how you have to appropriate your whatever that is, right? So we've got the alchemist over here, this balance, invention, and destruction, right? So these say to me there is a solution that you just haven't come up with yet, or that hasn't been offered, or perhaps it hasn't even been thought of yet. It hasn't even entered the conversation. Now the key here is, let's talk about what's coming, right? So this is the current situation, this stalemate, right? This is a stalemate, right? This is tug of war. And the key to tug of war, right, we know, is that it always takes two people holding on to the ends of the rope. Well, guess what? Doesn't get you anywhere. It does not get you. It doesn't get you this. It definitely doesn't get you this. So we have down here strength, the Six of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles. Now, strength is all about taming your own inner demons, right? It's how we have the strength and courage to navigate a crisis. And as I always tell my children, the way you learn to navigate a crisis is to have a conflict, right? You have to be in a conflict instead of just standing there going, no, 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 right? There has to be communication. And this memory of shared bliss, shared joy. This is why we did this. Remember, don't forget, this was our initial inception point. If we got a little sidetracked, let's remember why we did this, right? Let's remember how we built this, how we got here. And that's what the Six of Cups is asking you, right? This is that beautiful card of nostalgia, of unconditional love, of the way that your cup gets filled. This is that place that's reminding you, remember, before there was this, there was this. Before there was conflict, before there was stubbornness, there was love. There was cooperation. There was shared celebration. There was an ease of function, right? That perhaps this ego kind of got in the way of, right? So how do we tame the ego? We go back to the love. And then this is that card of self-sufficiency. We've got this. We've got this. It's okay, right? We don't have to be stubborn. We don't have to withhold our resources. We can be open and bountiful, right? Super abundant and giving, right? There's no give in this energy here. Neither of these cards have any kind of pliability. They don't have any comfort within them. They just have this stubborn assertion. I am correct, right? I am correct. And that's destructive. So how do we get back to this Four of Wands? How do we get to the Sun card? Well, we have to remember. How do we get there? I just want you to look at this card for a minute. So adjacent possibilities, right? Look at that. There are doors everywhere. You might not see a door. A door in the floor. A door above a door on the wall, right? Big doors, little doors, doors everywhere. And so whatever it is that that is being created, right? This alchemist card is, let's look outside of this current rigid structure that we're trying to stay within, that we're trying to make a thing fit into. Guess what? That's not how life works. Life works when you're in flow. Life works when you're finding that solution that is mutually beneficial. That is what allows you to be abundant. That is what is that card of wish fulfillment here allows it to be shining bright and beautiful and bountiful. It allows whatever it is you've got here to blossom. Whether or not this is a situation about work, whether or not this is a situation about where you live and coming back to that beautiful place of home, whatever the conflict is that has arisen, the way to get back there is to remember the love, to go back to the place where there was a possibility to solve a problem, to learn something new, to look at it in a different way, to perhaps add something or take something away that hasn't been thought of before, or basically just to get back to the basics, which is this ultimate joy, right? Which is, why did I come here in the first place? Why am I here? Oh yeah, I'm here because it felt beautiful. It shines. It makes me hopeful. It gives me optimism. It gives me a sense of reason and purpose and value and worth, right? That's what you're working toward. So this path or lesson that's completing for you, whatever this conflict is that you've been in for probably a little while, again, you probably know exactly when it started, and it probably just came about maybe even gradually. And it just became a thing, right? The thing, though, has to go. It doesn't feel good, and it's not in alignment with your highest and your best. And so whatever it is, be open to this possibility, because the possibility is what's going to allow you to reel that that conflict back in, right? And take one of these wands off the table. Get back to this 4. Get back to this beautiful place of wish fulfillment and unconditional happiness, right? Right, that's what we're looking for. Absolutely lovely. Absolutely lovely. Right, this is your source. Don't forget that the purpose here, right, is all about your own personal deep sense of joy, deep sense of value and value, of worth and worth. And so the way that you get back to that is to remember why you started, whatever it was that you started, before it got crazy. Yeah, what's coming next? Peace. There's peace. You just have to tilt your head a little bit, look at it a different way, and be open to communication, right? This 6 of Cups is all about communicating from your heart. And perhaps it's, you know what, I'm not really sure why we're fighting. I'm not really sure what started this, but I know where we were. I know where we belong, right? I know where we belong. So let's walk the path to get there. Let's recreate it together, right? And even if that means, even if that means accepting the hard part to get back to that, it's worth everything, right? It's worth it all. Yeah. So pile number 3, whatever part of this message fit for you, please feel free to pick it up, run with it, put it into motion, put it into action. Any part that did not fit for you, please feel free to leave it here. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so that you can come back and tell me how this went for you, and check out your messages next time. Until then, thank you so much for being here. You are appreciated. Be blessed.